Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment.
The progression of our soul really displays itself in the practice of the life cycles and the astrological cycles. And we know that that is animated through the body. Whether you're going through an experience of ascension, like a rocket type of ascension journey where it's like, oh my God, there's this rocket shooting through you where you feel the urgency and the desire to become that brilliant you, that eternal self. But maybe you have been stifled by some kind of body issue. Or maybe it's that you have overcome the body issue, but you don't know yourself in that spiritual way. And so I really wanted to just set this invitation. And the container is here. The container is the invitation. The container that we've created lives in the ethereal realm. And I want to invite you to step into this and to be dedicated and committed to your own path, because that's really what it takes, so that your intention that you have set with the divine to come to know yourself is realized and actualized on this planet, and so that it is very practical for you.
Yes, that's one of the things I love. I love so much about you, Christel, and I know that those of you who've been in this world know, there's such this capacity where you can see so far out into the expanded realms, but you're so great at really distilling things down and bringing practical solutions so we can implement this in our daily world. When I really started to discover and explore my own gift in working with the body and identifying energy deficiencies and understanding the flow, is that when we are not aligned with our soul purpose, when we are not aligned with what really is wanting to call through us, our body tells us, our body communicates this through those physical symptoms, through the issues in the body. And so I kept being taken back to, what does the soul really want to communicate through this body issue? And so, I really want to kind of set that stage, because as we start to identify and recognize the role that the body can play for us, we can actually take charge of our journey, right? We can actually start to come into that space where, if we have even the most subtle things going on within our body, we can go, oh, wait a minute, there's something here for me. There's something here for me to understand, to learn, to take a pause, and to come into greater perspective around. And so our body can start to become a map to really help us evolve more fully into our own soul awareness and to align with the higher energies that are wanting to come through our body and being. Now, Christel, I know we've talked about the relationship, and you're so brilliant at looking at, what is the relationship between our energetic system and our body system. And as we were in conversation, you started to share with me that we really are being called to ascend into a higher dimensional earth, a new dimensional earth. So can you share with us a little bit about what you've been seeing that we are being called into?
Yes. Oh my goodness. this is the good juicy stuff, right, everybody? This is what you're going to be able to kind of dig your spiritual teeth into, right? Because as we know, we're being pulled. We've got this pull back and forth, and we can see it in society to be good and do good and treat each other good. And then the other part of us, which is like the little devil that we see that's coming out in society, right? And that there's this division of, the divine, brilliant light, and then the divine shadows, and how people act when the shadows are cast upon our planet, right? And I want everyone to think about and kind of zoom out a bit, because we want to zoom out. We want to start to recognize that we literally are being influenced by other planets. We're being influenced by the cosmos. Why do you think we've all been talking about dimensions over the last several years, right? And now we want to go dimensionally. And what does that mean to traverse the dimensions, to move through portals? The reason why, as humans, we're being drawn, and especially our communities that are laced in that spiritual devotion or the heart intention to grow and evolve, is because we literally are the way showers. We are the light workers. We're the ones that are going to experience it first, and we're the ones that are going to be told about it first, right? And so I want you to think about just what your relationship is with the cosmos. And then also coming back to how extreme it is to zoom back down into your world, and then into your life, and then your personal issues or situations you're dealing with. And start to feel which one feels lighter. When I expand out, does that feel lighter? When I actually am recognizing that there are other energies and beautiful beings in the cosmos that are supporting me and that are there, that are part of my family? Or is it coming back down to me, my ego, and myself? Personally, each one of us as humans are literally at the impact and effect of vibrational frequency changes that are happening on a cosmic level. We're being called to that. And this new dimensional earth is what came through, that we are personally, literally our mind can't continue to function at just the earthly domain level of consciousness. So we have been talking about these other dimensions and opening up to our star being friends and all of that for several years, because we needed a shift in our consciousness on the planet to be able to have a clear path, to understand that light as information is trying to guide us out of the pain, the suffering, that when we are closed in and only looking at our own issues, or even when we're trying to be an advocate for the pain and the issues here, we are bound. We are not expansive. And so what's happening is that just as we are shifting our own mind, which relates to our physical body and really dictates, and, Amanda knows this, Sophie knows this, that, the emotions and the mentality live in our energetic field, and as they are in our aura coming down into the body, because we accept those issues, we accept our contractions, we accept the mental constructs, and sometimes we can't help it because it is in our DNA blueprint and in our subconscious blueprint. But that when those go all the way down to the physical body, we actually lose vitality, strength. But also, I want you to think about this, that our mental and emotional bodies in the aura are needing to be upgraded. I've done this work for many years now. I've been working with Archangel Metatron, because Metatron is the archangel of the future, right? I'm preparing you. That's my job as a spiritual being, is to really prepare everyone for what's coming and to help them walk through those gateways. Now, when we see that we are in that perturbation, we're in that agitation mode, we're being stretched. It's like we're literally rubbing up against something. Our mental body is sloughing off the old consciousness. And I want you to think of now going to the earth. and thinking of the earth doing the same thing, that the earth aura has a mental body, just like our human aura has a mental body. The earth's aura has an emotional body, just like our human aura has an emotional body. And so if we look at the earth is begging us to shift our mental and emotional body because it needs to become this new dimensional earth. It's trying to upgrade its mental body in its aura. And so just like a snake, that is shedding its skin, really getting a sense of what happens just prior to the shedding, right? The snake's eyes become opaque. The vision starts to get hindered. So we can't see, right? We're like, oh, and then what happens is that it's almost as if we desire for some kind of abrasiveness to happen, to help us get out of the situation that we're in, right? To actually move out. And you'll see the snake will start to rub its head on something that can actually help to tear open the outer layer. And that's what we're doing. It's almost like we're banging our head up against something, right? But it's like, can we stop thinking these ways? Can we stop with the old habits? Can we get out of this? Now, also, I want to go into that degree to which your physical body is capable of really welcoming these new dimensional earth energies. You're going to have more health, strength, and vitality, right? And there's other things that are coming in. But also what we start to see is that we have to really look at the degree to which your brain, your cranial system, has adjusted to be in alignment for accepting and processing the new dimensional earth energy, right? So we're literally looking at getting the physiology, the physiological expression, like purging the old emotions, which is what Sophie helps you do, and then readjusting and opening up to more light coming into the body, which is what Amanda supports you doing. And then as we start to go into that transitional bridge between earth and human, going into the cosmos, we start to look at what the brain is doing and the cranial system. And can our chakras, which we know, the main ones, even the transpersonal ones we've come over the last few years understanding a little more, but what is happening? Can we actually open our mind to a higher mind dimensional reality? Literally, our brain is too small, right? We're literally thinking too small. We have to open this up, and we have to support our cranial system now, our nervous system that indicates what is safe and what is not. If we are afraid when we expand, and we're afraid when we look out of our little, comfortable box that we're in on planet Earth. Most of us live a cushy life, even if we think, oh my gosh, I need more money this month or whatever, we're still pretty cushy, right, considering. And so our brain, our sutures of our brain, and you'll find Amanda and I are actually putting on a workshop that's going to help that bridging and get the body prepared and help the cranial system upgrade to accept but also to process. We have to have our physical body container understand what it takes. How does the body process the light? And how does the body process not just what's happening to this earth, that it is becoming a new dimension. We're literally bridging a dimension on planet Earth, over planet Earth, in the planet Earth aura. But we have to actually extend our consciousness to be able to process at a faster rate. Now we start to look at the Schumann waves. For years I've been teaching people. Literally since probably 2001, I've been teaching people how to ground, tap into the ball of light in the center of the earth. If you've ever taken anything from me, I've taught that. Why? Because of the Schumann resonance waves. We're looking at the electromagnetic resonance, vibrational frequencies that are generated by light. Okay? And so if we start to see that there's been a shift, there's been a change in the Schumann resonance waves, there's an upgrading, there's an urgency, there's an increasing vibrational happening, right? It's literally like everything is speeding up, and it's influencing mainly the temporal and spatial variations of how we conduct light. And so there's this intensity growing, but also there's variations in the location around our planet. So it's really important how other planets impact us with our ley lines, which in fact, I'm going to be doing a workshop with Sophie, and we're doing this on the body of light. And so again, the degree to which your cranial system has adjusted in alignment for accepting and processing new dimensional earth energies. And lastly, the degree to which your light body has been built out and the relationship your light body has with the physical body. Just as we are shedding the old mentality, the mental constructs, the mental body of the aura is being upgraded. So much of what we have done as a collective in Academy for the Soul has been about this. The cutting edge of building out your light body, but recognizing and keep pointing everyone back to pay attention to that literally the food that you're putting into your body dictates the degree to which your light body is going to grow. The emotionality, the state of what you're watching, what you're listening to, the environment dictates the emotional body and the representation of that energy to prompt the light body that it's safe to grow, to build out. And then also starting to look at our planet and really starting to see how do we feel? Do we feel safe on this planet? Are we able to align? Because just as we are being encouraged to build out a light body, to expand our aura, not that light body is building out of nothing. We already have the template of our expanded light body, just like planet Earth is trying to build out its light body. So if we really start to observe the interconnectedness of all things, we're not playing around anymore. This isn't, again, just about entertaining an idea. Who do you want to be working with that understands these degrees, how you need to be supported? That's why we're here. That's why we are sharing this with you, to support your upgrading, your healing, your deep devotional plan of your soul to evolve. This is what we're actually talking about when we talk about ascension, when we talk about upgrading, when we talk about attuning you. This is the preparation. And so I want you to set the intention right now with your heart. If you're taking anything from what is being exposed and presented to you right now as light of truth, take this in and start to allow yourself to be guided that we do need to have a plan of action and that we are here to support you to literally become that eternal being self, that soul self, because you are upgrading. You are a dimensional being. We're literally in the time where the earth is called to be a new dimensional earth. You are being called to be a new dimensional human. So we want to celebrate that, but we also want to bring in our level of commitment, our level of dedication to wake up and say, okay, and to remember what has been posed to you today when you're making those decisions of what am I going to put in my body? Does this feed my soul? Does it feed my human body? Does it feed the next level of the expression of my soul embodied and also as a cosmic dimensional being? So bring it back to reality as practical and start to bridge the spiritual and these ideas that we know are pretty far out there to the general public, but to us, we are inspired by them because we recognize the depth of the truth in them. So that is my goal for each one of you. That literally is my life purpose, is to actually bring light to the world. And this is the way that I do that. And I hope to continue to support you.
Wow. There's such depth and such elevation at the same time to what you just shared, Christel. And, when we come in and we look at this from a perspective of what's happening in the body, what's so fascinating is that our body's current condition or operational templates have a direct impact on the capacity to zoom in and out, like you were talking about, zooming out really to, move out into the cosmos and have that broader perspective, that broader vision, and then zooming back in to recognize what's going on and what's happening and the higher truth of what's wanting to happen through you and what's available for you. And so we have these operational templates that are in place that drive, what we're able to open to, what we're able to perceive from our inner sensory perceptions. And it's not like we just have one of these templates. We have many of these templates that are associated with whole body systems, so we might have one for the nervous system, we have one for our respiratory system, one for our immune system, we have one for specific body organs, so liver, heart, glands, thymus gland, pineal gland. Even for a single fingernail, we can have an operational template that's moving and going and flowing in our body and directing energy. And so we must consider which of these have the greatest impact on our overall body system and start there. Because the one that's having that greatest impact, that's the one that's going to most influence our capacity to do that zooming in and out, to be aware of what's happening with us at the most subtle level and what's wanting to come forth as that greater support that's in the cosmos, that is that divine energy that's here for us. So when we explore these current afflicted operational templates, the ones that don't match that ideal, we want to go a little deeper and get specific and clear on what's distorting those templates. What really is corrupting them so that they're not matching that ideal sacred soul design and flow that's meant to move in and through you. Now, how I've seen these show up consistently in my work as a medical intuitive is as energetic filters. These filters, they only allow in vibrational tones that match the limited mental beliefs that you've taken on, whether you've taken them on in childhood from different things that have happened in your childhood, from parents in your genetic coding, in your DNA, right? So coming through that generational timeline and taking that on, taking what your parents have taught you as truth for you, even if it doesn't feel true, or even if you don't recognize or are not aware that it's not your truth. We take on these limited mental beliefs through trauma that we've experienced, whether it's this lifetime or a past lifetime. Even experiences where you felt elevated emotions, whether those are good or bad, right? So you might associate a heightened emotion of love to a situation that's not actually healthy. So, one really good example of that is the connection with food. We might connect like, ooh, I really feel great when I have that specific kind of food, that sweet dessert, or, so for some people it's the salty type food, but we might associate a certain type of food with an elevated emotion of love. And that comes in as a limited mental belief that that's the source for that emotion, right? And so that can start to skew as well what is going on in our energy field. And so we start to have these filters in place. And, sometimes these filters just have one screen. And so that one filter is kind of skewing, the light energy, the information comes in, it hits that filter. And then certain components are strained out of that filter, right? And so, if you have a dense filter, that light energy can filter out, and then you're just left with the goopy, dense, heavy energies that are sitting in that space. right? For some of the filters now, you might have multiple screens that are overlaid, right? So you might have 2 or 3 screens that are overlaid in one filter in such a way that you might be doing some deep transformational work. You might be doing some shifting and clearing, and you might even release one belief structure and system that allows you to delete one of those overlaid screens, but you still have that filter in place because you have more screens in there, which continues to hold that main filter in place, right? So it's still as if you're looking to your future through murky glasses and limited openings, right? The more of those overlays you have, the less of an opening you have to actually see through clearly. And so now you've got both a film that's dimming the light and dimming the possibilities of your highest vision, and you have limited scope in that you're having to peer through those tiny openings to look ahead, to look what's to come, right? And so when that happens, even if you're able to zoom in and out effectively, right? Even if you can have that lens zooming in and out to assess from differing vantage points, really going out, moving out into the cosmos or coming deep in, even if you're able to zoom effectively, you're still quite limited in what you're able to see and perceive. And this impacts your physical vision as well as your inner vision, right? The inability to see and envision a brighter future can keep you stuck in fear of what might happen. Oh no, if I take this step forward, I might fall on my face and totally fail, and people aren't going to love me, and I'm going to be isolated and alone for the rest of my life. Right now, that's a little exaggerated and extreme, but sometimes that's the trail that fear leads to, right? We don't want to be alone. We don't want to be isolated. We want to be in communion in a community and in that deeper connection because we know that to be our highest truth. But when we aren't able to see and envision that bigger picture, when we have these limited lenses that are coming in and blocking that fear is what we can see, right? That's what we can perceive. That's what's there in our face, blocking that higher vision. And so from that space, you're then unable to acknowledge the steps or the resources that will take you where your heart and soul are guiding, even if those resources are right in front of you, right? You can't even see them. They're blocked, they're skewed, they're distorted. They don't look like the right solution. They don't feel like the right solution, right? You just can't seem to find or see the way or the path forward when this is happening. So all of the associated emotion, that fear, then has you thinking and feeling, well, maybe it's just best to stay where I am. I already know that this is safe, or at least I already know what I'm dealing with. So maybe it's just best for me to stay where I am and not try to move forward and not move out into the unknown. Again, that's because there's not a vision or not a connection to the possibility of the joy, the pleasure, the beauty that awaits on that other side, right? You can't access that feeling tone and that emotionality to come in and replace and draw you forward. And so that's why it's so powerful, this opportunity that we have available for you to release the filters and prepare for the future that Christel mentioned, right? She mentioned that she works with Metatron's cube to help you prepare for the future. And so she's bringing that in. We're going to be offering up the Upgrading Cranial Consciousness Workshop. So in that workshop, I'm going to be guiding you in identifying the main brain filter that's misaligning you with your divine truth. So it's taking you from that, not allowing you to access that higher truth of you, right? Distorting the information that you notice, take in, and receive in your visual cortex. Now, this is important because that's the part of your brain that processes the light information that you take in and then delivers that information to the appropriate regions of the brain to inform your decisions, your actions, your choices, right? So if you're operating on that limited information, you don't have the whole big picture. right? If you're making your decisions based on what that fear is showing you or what that fear is blocking from you, then you don't have all the information that you need to make an informed decision that's going to serve you at that higher level. It's known in the scientific communities that your visual cortex in the back brain actually influences the major receptor of light from your retinas known as the LGN in your thalamus, right? So this really demonstrates that your mental states, what's going on in that visual cortex, what you're thinking and feeling, actually impacts what your eyes see, what you're focusing on, right? What you're zooming into, what's catching your eye and attention in your environment. And so we don't want you operating from the limited, distorted info. We don't want you just focusing and honing in on that which is associated with the limited paradigms that you've taken on, and most of the time taken on subconsciously without even realizing it, right? That will not make you the incredible processor of high vibrational light that you're meant to be and made to be at your core, in your natural design, in your natural inherent state. And so that's where we're going to be working as we release that filter, and then we bring in those upgrades. We bring in that higher vibrational operational template for you. We're going to be opening you up to not only releasing the limited paradigms of that filter, but really starting to bring in and reset that operational system of the brain, of the visual cortex, that allows you to release not just the energy, the limited emotions and paradigms that have affected the processing of the brain, but also all the body, all the ways in which that information has gotten stuck or lodged in the body, that it's clogged up or impaired your communication networks, right? So anywhere that those limited paradigms have distorted and shorted the wiring, so that now when the high vibrational light energies come in, you don't have the effective pathways for that light to move in and through. And so as we are moving through that space, in addition to really cleansing the filters, bringing in those upgrades to up-level your nervous system, to improve your communication networks, Christel's taking us a step further, right? She's going to be working with Metatron's Cube to assist you in accessing the highest possible vision for you, for your future, right? So with Metatron's Cube, she's going to help you open up your awareness to move beyond these filters, these limitations, where you can't see on your own what's possible for you, and allow you to step into the experience of that so that you can make the adjustments to actualize that vibrational tone in your body that aligns with that future vision. So you can draw that vision forward into your being, right? Draw that to you now, not having to wait, not having it to be so slow, not having to do so much clearing, but allowing that vision to light you up so much that now those filters start to naturally dissolve. Because again, when you go and you see beyond the filter and that emotional energy takes charge and you can feel that and experience that and access that, now that gives you the incentive for your brain, for your wiring, for your body system to start to go, okay, now I can make an informed choice. I'm ready to let all that go because I'm ready to step into what I'm experiencing and feeling in that space, right? So in that work, bringing Metatron's Cube in is going to be so powerful. And so we're so blessed that Christel's going to do that for us, because that's going to aid in any additional shifts and upgrades that are required for your brain to shift how you're receiving and processing light so that it's in alignment with the new dimensional you, right? So that you can really align with the new dimensional earth energies. You're upgrading your mental body, upgrading your emotional body, upgrading your physical body, all simultaneously. And so this deep work is how we grow your brain's functional capacity, Christel mentioned that we can't effectively go into the cosmos, expand out into those outer realms, those greater realms, those more expansive realms of being, and open our mind to that higher dimensional reality if we're bound by the limiting paradigms of pain and suffering that we've come to know as quote unquote reality here in the old earth plane, right? Where we've been for so long. And so we're actively providing you with the tools and experience of these cranial upgrades, which in turn also enable us to, again, up-level our communication networks, our nervous system, our hormones, the cell-to-cell communication, right? And their greater ability to flow that heightened light at a rapid speed. Think instant receptivity to higher self-guidance and directives in every single cell of your body simultaneously, right? You're not having to wait for it to go from one to the other to the other. It's just simultaneous, instant knowing. That's where we're heading as new dimensional humans in the new dimensional earth. And that's where we're wanting to take you. That's what we're doing to help make those upgrades in the body to get you there. But it doesn't stop there. Christel's taking it a step further in that she's going deep into the cranial sutures. And here's where it gets really fascinating. The human body is so incredible. The cranial sutures are fibrous joints, and they allow flexibility, malleability in the head, right? As babies, we know that those cranial sutures are really flexible. They allow the baby to birth through the birth canal, right? As children, those sutures allow the brain to grow as the child develops, as you grow in your mental consciousness. And as we get older into adults, the fibrous nature of these connection points, of these points in the skull where the bones meet, allow us to have the space to let the light flow through, flowing in and out in divine radiant exchange. And it allows that flexibility. It allows us to expand our consciousness, to grow our consciousness. So as we're increasing that brain capacity, like we were talking about, we've got the space to let that in and let that light in a big, major way, right? So through the work that Christel's guiding you through with the cranial sutures and with Archangel Metatron and Metatron's cube, now what you're doing is you're opening up your cranial cosmic channels, right? Getting direct access to the cosmos right in your head. No more having to go up and out of the body to experience those blessed sacred light energies. This is a common issue. So often people come to me and they're like, I'm so tired, I don't have any energy. And of course, energy is up out of their body. Why? Because you're going up and out to experience those divine energies, to experience that beautiful light that can feel really hard to bring into a body that's dense, right? So just imagine that instead of having to go up and out and taking that energy from the body and then trying to bring it and stuff it back in, bring that light energy down into the body, imagine just having your brain, your mind, your headspace opening up to that light energy, to those sacred light energies that feel so uplifting and divinely illuminating. And those are just coming in. So you can stay centered and grounded and anchored in your body and experience that light flow in your body. Just imagine what that would do for the cells of your body. Even just let yourself experience that right now. Just imagine bringing that light energy into yourself. Imagine all of that being available. Imagine centering your energy in your body, just bringing all of your energy into your body and then letting that light come in. When you do that, you're creating that direct connection in such a way that your entire body system is now open and available, right? As your brain rewires in this way, you can feel safe to really be in the experience of that light. There's no more fighting against or trying to stop that light from coming in. That takes a tremendous amount of energy, and it's exhausting, and your body system just isn't able to do it anymore, right? We really have to open our bodies up to be available to the light. And so this is such a powerful way in which we have been shown that we can support you in doing that. And so that's what we're doing in the Upgrading Cranial Consciousness workshop. So if you're truly ready to step into your higher truth and reality as the new dimensional human that you're being called to be, accessing that divine wiring that allows you to run those heightened light energies through your entire body system, then join us. Join us in the sacred space. Come get the upgrades. Open those cranial cosmic channels and really allow yourself to access those luminous light impulses and grow those within your body being, within yourself. We can't wait to see you there as we all evolve together and grow into that new dimensional expression of light that we're calling to be. So come join us. We look forward to seeing you there.